Another new project. We've got this rough that came from Hypnotic Gems online. Not sure what this is or if it's going to turn out the way we want, but they're calling it Script Jasper. Super muddy. Here's more Script Jasper in the same place. I like to try out different vendors and kind of see who's being honest about what they're selling. Yikes. Super, super muddy. Oh, this is what it looks like dry. Are you ready for the reveal when it's turned wet? Look at that pop! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, look at the mud. Okay, we're going to be right back really quick after I rinse it. Okay, we're back. Not quite so muddy as when I first tried to wet it down. So, Script Jasper, also known as Calligraphy Jasper. We're going to find out some more information about it. Supposedly a Mohs hardness 7. I have heard rumor that it is a lot softer. So we are going to get this barrel started. It's a 3-pound barrel. And we're going to see what happens when we try and run some Script Jasper. Yikes. Don't think all of this is going to fit in here. Trying to get the smaller ones in. Okay, this is all I'm going to put in the barrel. It's going to get a lot of banging around, and it's going to reduce size a lot, and then we'll have some pieces to throw in next week to help fill the barrel from our loss. Ooh, I'm really excited to see how this works out. This is a bit of a, I'm going to call it an intermediate tumble. It's not like regular Jaspers where it's harder. This is going to be a little bit more babysitting that's going to be required to get what the end result that we want. So I'm excited. New projects. I love new projects, and I've been kind of really anxious to get started on something that was a little more advanced than just Jaspers and agates. Okay, let's put 6090 silicone carbide in here. I'm going to put 1.5 tablespoons because I think it's going to shrink down to nothing. And then we're going to put 1 teaspoon of baking soda to help prevent any organic gases so the barrel doesn't burp open. And then I want to put 1 tablespoon of borax in here to help with everything, with the cleanup, with the grit suspension, to help, you know, work everything out and get a really nice thick slurry. So I'm really excited to see what happens with this next week. Okay. Next is going to be our Script Jasper. It's been running 1 week. Well, 8 days. This is its first run, so I'm really curious to see what the slurry is going to look like. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. I love it when it's foamy. We lost a ton of mass. These are tiny little stones. So that tells me this is probably Miriam Jasper, not Script Jasper. And a Miriam Jasper, I think, is a 5 on the Mohs scale. And a Script Jasper should have been a 7. And with a 7, we would not have had this much mass loss. This is why you have to be careful when you're ordering from a vendor that's unknown to you, because they just, sometimes things just get mislabeled. They don't really know what they have. And this barrel is not really coming clean. It is going to need a scrub. The red is really just, I'm going to have to get some soap and water on that. I don't know if you can tell. There's like a red film on this. It's kind of hard to tell out here in this light. I'm going to have to scrub that inside. Or not inside, but scrub that with a soap and water. I'll show you how red that is. A lot of grit left. Again, I think the tumblers are running slow. I'm going to have to adjust the belt. A little bit higher RPM on this, or let them run a few days longer so that we don't have all that grit left over. I mean, it's really not a lot of grit, it's just more than I like to see. Goodness. Holy cow, it's still coming out red. Holy cow. We're getting red staining. Let's take some quick peeks at this. It's amazing. I love the patterns. Feels really grainy. Feels softer than what normal Jaspers feel. Okay, we're gonna put this back in the barrel with lots of water and wait for us to be able to do an inspection. We'll be right back with the next barrel. Hello, fellow rock hounders. We are back with our new project that we started last week, and this was called Script Jasper from the vendor. Script Jasper looks very similar to this and is a Mohs hardness of 6.5 to 7. However, after running this for 1 week, we lost over half the barrel volume in mass. Meaning this is a super soft stone and it's just disintegrating. So what it really is Arabic stone, also known as calligraphy stone. It is much softer than a jasper. So you have to be really careful when you order things from vendors that are, you know, I'm not going to say unethical because this is, I have no idea. You know, I just think that this particular vendor was mistaken in tagging this bag. They called it Script Jasper, which it is not. It's really calligraphy stone. So, don't know what to say about that. Just be careful. I'm not saying this is a bad company because, you know, the stuff was packaged nice. It looked really nice. I've ordered a lot of stuff from them. I'm just now getting around to tumbling it. So this particular one, I'm just telling you, buyer beware and be careful what you order. If you're unfamiliar with it, you know, people would not know and they could, you know, be disappointed when it doesn't turn out the way they want it to. So manage your expectations, know what you're ordering, and just be careful. I'm not saying I'm unhappy. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying here. I'm just saying this is not Script Jasper, this is calligraphy stone. So I want to correct this bag, and I want to call it calligraphy stone so that I will know what it is in the future. And there's still a few pieces in here I'm going to throw in. So here's the calligraphy stone in the rough. It's just beautiful. Had a really brick red slurry. So this was the size last week. This is the size this week. So you're seeing quite a bit of mass loss here. You're seeing the difference. That's a big, that's about half the stone. Okay, now that rant is over, let's inspect them. So 1 week in 60/90, because I thought it was a Jasper at first, based on the packaging. I thought it could take a week. This would have been more like the lepidolite that we ran, that's a really soft stone. I would have run these for less days, and we would have had less mass loss, I think. However, they're feeling really nice. They're shaped well. I don't think we're going to get that glassy shine based on how soft the stone is. It is nice. Yeah, these are nice. I'm going to move these to 120. I don't think they need to run another week. As I say that, there's some pits. I just don't think I want to risk losing more mass. So I'm just going to move these directly to 120. Alright, these are going to get a wash cycle, probably 3 or 4 of them based on how muddy that slurry was. They're going to, let me think here. Wash cycles are going to be with Dreft detergent, baby detergent, 1 tablespoon in the barrel, and 1 tablespoon of borax in the barrel. Excuse me, a teaspoon of Dreft, a tablespoon of borax. Let it run for an hour, rinse it out, do it again until the water runs clear-ish. So there might be 3, 4, maybe even 5 washes, because I want to make sure there's no grit contamination, especially since this has got a little bit of a texture to it, and I just don't want to take any chances of damaging this in future runs. It is pretty. I really love to look at it, and I am happy with it now that I know what it actually is. Now that I know what it actually is, I think I might know how to tumble it. So we're going to find out. This is going to be an experiment, and hopefully it's going to work out, and we can do a how-to video on it. On calligraphy stone, not script Jasper. Calligraphy stone. All right. And we're back with our calligraphy stone, which has been running 4 days additional in stage 1. And look at how thick that is. There's like almost no liquid left in there at all. Super brick red. It's like a crime scene. Wow, that is super thick. That's all rock stuff, rock mud. We lost a lot of volume in just 4 days. Yikes. Holy cow. My goodness, these have gotten so small. I'm feeling better though. Okay, we will take these inside and do an inspection. And we're back with our calligraphy stone, and when I washed this barrel out a little bit ago, I had mistakenly said that it had been running in stage 1 for 4 days, and it was really stage 2. It was running in 120, 220. So let's take a look and see how we're doing on this. It is feeling better. Still getting a lot of red off of this. Really, really interesting. Ugh, this is going to make a mess. It's kind of staining. Now it's still wet, so that's why you're seeing a little bit of a shine on here. We just want to see if this is ready to go to 500. And because it's such a soft stone, and we're not anticipating getting that really high polish that we get on, you know, like a jasper or an agate, I think this is going to definitely just go to 500 for a day. We'll check it. It might run for 2 days. It is feeling a lot better. It's I don't know. I mean, I'm happy with this, although we have lost so much mass. So this is what it was when we started. You can see how much mass we lost, and it ran for, I think, 4 days in stage 1 and 4 days in stage 2, like 3.5 days in stage 2. So it's a Mohs hardness of 2.5 to 4. So it's super, super soft. Let's just put this stone back. Ugh, hands are all dusty now. But as I was saying, it's a really soft stone. And soft stones don't typically get a really nice high gloss polish. And they're more of an advanced tumble because it requires so much more babysitting. And by babysitting, I mean you have to check it more often. It can't run for a solid week. It's usually a matter of days per cycle. Well, this is feeling, you know, good. I'm not seeing pits. I'm not seeing anything that's carrying grit. So this is going to go through several wash cycles, and the wash cycles are going to be, gosh, these are just pebbles. Yikes. They really did get small. We are going to put these with just borax and water. Normally I would put Dreft baby detergent in here, but I was doing some research and I read that the Dreft or any other soap would mar the finish. So I just want to use just straight borax because I've been putting borax in the runs and it's been, you know, reacting okay to it. So we're just going to do borax, which would be simply a burnish, really. We're going to run several cycles to kind of make sure it's good and clean before, you know, there's no more carbide grit on here. And then it's going to go to 500 aluminum oxide. So the next time we see this, it'll be in our vibratory tumbler running in 500. Okay, we'll be right back. Alright, it's been 24 hours. It's time to check our calligraphy stone. Okay, let's take a look. Wow, even the slurry's red from that stone, but it's running really well. Let's dig a piece out. Be right back, gotta clean this stone. I had to get some water. Oof, such a mess. Wow, it feels a lot smoother. Wow. Holy cow, that's beautiful. Alright, I'm going to put that back in the tumbler. And I'm going to let these run. Whoops. Sorry about that. In a wash cycle. Lots of water in here. See, lots of water. I'm gonna let these run. Hope I didn't ruin them by adding the Dawn soap. But we need to clean them. Give it about 15 minutes. I'll check them, then I'll do a really good rinse cycle, and then prep it for 1000. All right, we'll be back shortly. Okay, we are back with our calligraphy stone. It has been in a couple of wash cycles, and now we are going to prep our 1000 barrel, and it's dry, and our 1000 ceramics that I use only in the 1000 aluminum oxide. So we're going to put that in here as well. It's all dry, but I'm gonna, get this really wet in a moment. I want to just kind of show you how much stone I'm putting in to start with. I mean, quite a bit. Got a good cushion. Now then, this is our calligraphy stone with the 500 ceramics, and we're going to keep them separate. So what I want to do now is take these perfectly washed calligraphy stones, and as you can see, they're really smoothing out quite a bit. And I just want to put the stones in this barrel. This is going to take a hot minute here. And I want to kind of shake it up a little bit. I could do this on the machine and let it do the vibrating to kind of mix the ceramics and stone, but it's hard to film. Just want to create a really good cushion for this super soft stone. Make sure we got all of our calligraphy out of here. All right, we'll set this aside. Now I'm going to probably put the rest of this in here as well. That's all I want in there. Now I'm going to take this to the sink, and I'm going to fill it full of water, and then I'm going to drain it out, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now everything that's inside this barrel is good and wet. I want to add, you know what, I'm going to put this on the vibratory tumbler and then add the borax. Let's move our chair out of the way. There is, oops. Oh, you know, I could turn that light on, that would help. There's a notch right here that this notch goes in. So I'm going to line that up. Press this little metal part down. Oh, boy, getting that in there is a pleasure. Now, when I turn this on, it's going to be really, really loud. I want to give it a moment to mix the ceramic and the stone, and I want to give it a couple of squirts of water just to keep everything good and damp. Now I'm going to take our borax. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon in here. And already you can hear it quiet the motion. And we put borax in here for grit suspension. Helps create a thicker slurry. And it helps with barrel cleanup. And since we are in stage 4, I have my stage 4 1000 aluminum oxide pre-polish. And that's the next thing that goes in here, but I want to give it another squirt of water just so it doesn't get too sticky with that borax off the bat. Alright, so here goes our pre-polish. I like to watch it vibrate off the spoon. I don't know why, that gives me pleasure, but it does. Now I'm going to put, this is a 4-pound hopper or barrel, so I want to add a second. Let's move this. I'm going to add a second tablespoon. See how that motion is slowing down? Add a little water. Just a couple squirts at a time until we get the motion we want. And now I'm turning this down because it's adjustable. I'm just slowing the motion a little bit. And this is going to run for about 24 hours, just like it did in the 500. And as you can see, I am using separate barrels. I have 500, 1000, and then polish, just because I like to keep the cross-contamination possibilities at a minimum. So we're starting to get a slurry created. And that is that. I'm going to put the cap on it. And now the noise is really quiet. It's another reason I love this machine. Because it runs in my home and it's nice and quiet. Push that back on the bench. Turn out the overhead light. And we are going to see this tomorrow after 24 hours. Let's just put everything away. Clean the spoon, because I don't want any contamination when it goes into polish. Hopefully it'll go to polish tomorrow. We'll see how it does. Okay, and that's really all I gotta say about it till tomorrow. Lots of babysitting. Now, when this was in 500, I did check it maybe twice. The slurry was beautiful. The action was really good. It wasn't locking up at all. I took a piece out and tested it, and it appeared to be doing what I needed it to do. Which was smooth the surface a little bit more. And now the purpose of this second phase of pre-polish is to smooth the surface as much as possible before it goes into polish. Now, being such a soft stone, there's going to be issues with getting a polish. And we know that going in. So it's a little bit of an experiment to see if the vibratory tumbler is going to do what I think it's going to do, which is create some kind of a polish. A rotary tumbler would have just destroyed the stone. So this was our only alternative, because I don't have any of the machinery to hand polish these stones, or the desire, to be quite honest. Okay, we are good with this, and we will see it tomorrow. Alright, it's been about 36 hours since we've been running this calligraphy stone in 1000 aluminum oxide. So let's check it, see how it's doing. The action is good. Did not dry out. Now, we did check it a couple of times in this 36 hours, but now we're going to take a piece out. If I can grab one. Oh, gosh, sorry about that camera action. Oh, wow. That is nice and smooth. There is a little bit of pitting that is getting revealed, but I think that this is definitely ready for a wash cycle. So let's put some Dawn in here. Add a lot of water. And I'm going to turn the action up. Just a bit more water. Alright, we're going to cover this back up. We're going to let it run for about, half hour, 15 minutes, a half hour, and then I'm going to wash the barrel out and prep it for polish. All right, we'll be back. And we're back with our calligraphy stone. It has been running 38 hours in aluminum oxide 1000 pre-polish, which was my stage 4. And now it's finished its wash cycle, and it's feeling really nice and smooth. They're still damp. Most of them are still damp, but they're drying fast in this temperature. There's a little bit I'm noticing a little bit of pitting that's opening up. I think it's because it's fossilized and things are just wearing off. But I'm hoping to get a shine out of these, so let's put these, I mean, they're feeling really nice and smooth. I want to put these in polish now. So we're going to use our vibratory tumbler. And this is all the stone that's left. I mean, it's really shrunk down. It's pretty small now. So we are going to need our 4-pound hopper, because it's the only size we have, that I reserved just for polish. And I'm going to wet to the inside of the barrel. And I know that there's going to be a tiny bit of standing water, and that's fine because I'm going to drain it in a moment. So there's just a little bit of standing water, not a lot, but I just want everything good and wet. I'm going to re-wet the stones a little. And now I want to put polish only medium in here, ceramic medium. One of these days I'll have everything that I need in one setting. So this is our ceramic media that I have for polish only. And you can see that it looks wet, but really, this is just because it's been run through polish so many times. It's just polished. It's completely dry. Now, so that I don't make a mess, I'm going to go get the funnel. I'll be right back. So I picked up this canning funnel. That's one of the little plastic or rubber canning funnels. And this way, I don't really make a mess. I'm just going to put an awful lot. This is going to be 3/4 ceramic because I have such a small amount of stone. Put some stone in here. Should probably have water in here to make it a little more gentle when the stone falls in. Doesn't really matter, I guess. It's going to all tumble together. Alright, that's all of our stone. And you can see, not quite up to, there's a little nodule inside here. I don't know if you can see it. But I don't want anything to go any higher than that. There. Like I said, I don't want it to go any higher. Oh, dropped a piece. Just picking up a couple of pieces I did manage to drop. Now, you can see this little bump out here, little nodule. And that's as full as I'm going to want this. And actually, I still think there might be a little bit too much ceramic in here. Yeah, it's better. Now I'm going to go take this to the sink and get it all, I'm going to fill it with water, and then I'm going to drain it, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I put the hopper on the vibratory tumbler and the Mini Sonic. I have my borax, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of borax to this mix, but let's turn it on, and it's going to be really loud from here. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of borax and 2 tablespoons of polish, which is the 2 Micron aluminum oxide, and I get that from the Rock Shed. No affiliation, just a really good company. All right, let's turn this on. It's crazy how just adding 1 tablespoon of that powder will adjust the volume on this a little bit. Just nuts. I like watching that just bounce off the spoon. It's the little things in life, I tell you. Camera so you can kind of see inside here better. Adding some squirts of water until I get the slurry action that I want. See, it kind of happens pretty quickly. I'm going to turn the action down, slow it down, because I don't want to beat this soft stone to death, but I want to polish. And I think that is going to require 1 more squirt, and I don't know, it was 2. Parts of it was looking a little dry. Okay, we are done with our calligraphy stone. It's in polish. We will see it. I'll check on it in about 3 hours. See how quiet that is when the lid's on it? Alright, we'll check on this in about 3 hours. Make sure it's not locking up. Make sure it doesn't dry out. And then I'll probably check it 12 hours after that. And I'm going to let this run for 2 days before I test a piece to see how it's taking polish. And today is the 14th. Put my label on it. I love this painter's tape. Works really easy for labeling all my barrels. Okay, that's it for calligraphy stone for a couple of days. Alright, we're trying a little bit different setup. We just moved the angle of our vibratory unit so that I get a better camera angle. I'm not sure this is really going to work. So our calligraphy stone's been running 2 days in aluminum oxide polish. And you see how quiet it is? You can hear the rotary tumblers in the background, and then you can hear the slight hum of the vibratory unit. Now it's been 12 hours, maybe 13 hours since I've checked this last. And as you can see, hopefully, the unit is still, it's got a nice paste going. And because of the stone, it's really interesting to run. It's turned the slurry pink, where it was all a real deep brick red when we were doing it in the rotary tumblers and would do the washouts. And now in this, because usually when it's in polish, it's usually white, but this is interesting how it's turned it pink. And it's still quiet. I don't really think that this Mini Sonic by Diamond Pacific is a loud vibratory tumbler. And I don't have the setting on high. I've been wanting to do a real gentle polish because it's such a soft stone. So let's pull a piece out. Clean that off. And see what the condition of it is. Not really getting the polish off the way I would like. Oops, there we are. Wow, we are getting quite a nice shine on this stone. Ooh. Oh yeah. I mean, there's polish still stuck in there, but I'm putting it back in polish in just a second here. I'm just checking the stone. Oh, there it goes. Look, we've got a good surface. It's taken a nice polish, and I think that's the trick to polishing these really soft stones that notoriously don't take a good polish. And I think you got to get the surface prepared properly. It's really smooth. And we're taking it slow on this polish. I think giving it a little bit more time is gonna do the trick, but I want to add just a little bit of water. It might be too much water, but you see the action's picking up. And it's getting a little louder. I really don't want to run this faster. That's another thing that I like about this Diamond Pacific vibratory unit is that you can adjust the speed. And in a Lotto, you can't adjust the speed. So for me, I'm liking this unit better. I'm pretty happy with the polish that we're getting. And I'm just going to let this run. Put the cap back on it. I'm going to give it another day. I'll check this tomorrow. Give it 3 days. All right. That's our check on the calligraphy stone. All right, we're back to do a check on our calligraphy stone that's been in polish for 5 days. Now we've checked on it and added some squirts of water as needed. And I think we should be just about done. Let's take a look. Beautiful slurry. A little disconcerting that it's turning pink. All right, let's do a check. Got our piece here. We'll put it in some water. Let's see if we can get the polish off the stone. Let's turn the water pink. It's better than that brick blood red we had earlier. Alright, let's dry it off. Well, we have a polish. It's not like the greatest polish, but it's a really soft stone. And we wanted to see if we could get one at all. So I'm going to check another stone. Let's see if we can grab a flatter one. This one's a little bigger. I think 5 days is all I'm willing to let this run for because it's such a soft stone. But we got a little bit of a polish. Got some shine on it. Looks really hazy. I need to run a burnish cycle on it, and then we can do a true judge on what our results were. Alright, let's take these two pieces, put them back in. Get some Dawn soap. A lot of water. Move the camera. And we're going to let that run for about half an hour. Back on it. Sorry about the camera. I'm going to turn the speed up a little, and we'll look at it after it's all washed, burnished. Okay, so after this, I'm gonna about half an hour. I'm gonna rinse it really well, and then put borax and more Dawn dish soap in, and let it have a really good burnish cycle. Might do a couple of those, and then we'll check the final results. All right, we'll be right back. And we're back with our calligraphy stone, which is an advanced tumble. The most hardness on this stone is a 3 to 4, 2.5 maybe to 4. It's very, very soft. Now, this has been through a 1-hour burnish cycle with just borax. I know earlier I said I was going to do it with Dawn soap as well, but I put Dawn in the first wash. I didn't want to put it in the second one because I didn't want a residue left on it. I am pretty darn happy with the shine that we are getting on this really soft stone. So I dried this one off earlier. Gosh, it feels really nice. Not as smooth as like a jasper or an agate. You know, you can still feel a little bit of a texture because of the composition of the stone. Wow, this is amazing. Oh, that one's wet. Some of these I dried off already. I took a little quick peek. Now this is kind of the finish I was expecting to get. You know, kind of like some parts would polish and some parts wouldn't. And you can definitely feel high spots on this, the texture. Wow, this is really cool. Oh no, that's completely smooth on that side and everything. No undercutting, no nothing on this one. Oh, I'm really happy. Oh well, they're pretty much dry. Oh, I love a success, especially when we're not expecting one. I was really expecting this to be a fail, and then it would become a how not to video, but it worked. Because it worked, we'll make a video on every step that we did. Oh, wow. Now this ran 5 days in polish. I wasn't originally going to let it run that long, but I checked it at 2 days, and I wasn't all that thrilled. It was like, looked like it was going to start taking a polish, but I wasn't looking like I was going to get a really high one. So I thought, well, let's just leave it in, in for a penny, in for a pound. So I left it for another day. I checked it only for the consistency to make sure it wasn't locked up and to make sure that I had a nice slurry going and it wasn't too dry. And I added a couple squirts of water, let it run for another day. Next thing you know, it's 5 days later, and I am tickled pink. That bothers me. That is polish stuck in there. I have an ultrasonic cleaner on its way. I'm going to put the stone in there and see if we can get it cleaner. However, maybe it's not polished. Maybe it's just underneath the stone, because when I get the shine on there, it looks like a sealed surface. So it doesn't look like a pit. So maybe that's just an optical illusion. Well, we'll find out one way or the other, won't we? See how you can see as a pit. There's nothing stuck in there. Yeah, these are dry. Now, you can see there's some undercutting, some pitting. These are not perfectly smooth. We had lost so much mass with these stones from what they had started. They're really tiny now. They're just like, just little stones, but they're beautiful. I'm really, 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 really happy. That's a really cool piece. And you can see how that wore away. That is called undercutting, because the red is a softer material than the yellow. The more yellow, the better the shine, material-wise, on this stone. Some of the red polished. The longer that this tumbles, the more the red material undercuts. And that's why I wanted to use a vibratory tumbler instead of a rotary tumbler for the pre-polish and polish stages, to kind of protect the stone as much as possible and to keep it from eroding and crumbling and creating a mess. There was no fractures chips or anything in the barrel. I'm really tickled pink about that. So I was afraid we were going to get some of that. I was afraid some of these stones were going to break. And if they broke in the polish stage, like this one here, I really thought this was going to just shred. And if it broke in the polish stage, the crumbled pieces would ruin the finish on all the other stones. That's why I've got to be really, really careful. Oh, I'm so happy. I am so very happy. Oh, this is really pretty. Woo. All right, I'm going to call that a success. There was a lot of babysitting on this one. A lot of nerve. I was very nervous about a lot of this. Kind of nerve-wracking. Just because it was such a soft stone and I had seen other people, you know, polish the stone and not do well. And I was afraid we were just going to have another one. But I think this is a success.